Hey guys, wanted to share something really cool with you today, kind of a before and after situation. And I've got a lot of data on this, so I hope you find this useful as it relates to my one-to-one coaching campaign that I initially launched back in April of 2024. So it's been almost a year since I started doing this, and I'm just going to give you kind of a little backdrop here, a little backstory about my coaching business and the evolution of it, and all the lessons that I've learned along the way, and all the things that I've tried that haven't worked and the stuff that has worked. I just think that people don't share enough of what doesn't work for them, and I definitely want to do that here in this video that I'm recording. But I had a problem in April of 2024, actually prior to that, and I was building my coaching business and also managing my real estate business at the same time, even though I was actively exiting the real estate business. So I was managing both of that at the same time. And it was really challenging for me to find leads, like quality leads. Like I have a one-to-one coaching business, I have a mastermind, and I was going at everything organic, right? Like I was using my social media channels, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I was using the podcast to get attention, right? So I can get out in front of people. I had never run paid ads before. I had definitely considered it, but I was scared of it. It had nothing to do really with the budget. I just was scared of it and I didn't know how to do it. And I was doing fairly well with getting attention on social media, but it really wasn't translating into enough clients, or at least the clients that I wanted. So I decided to give paid ads a try. I'm like, I need to figure this out. Right? Like I need more leads. I need a system. I didn't really have a system. My system was, at the time, I was going live on social media a lot. Like I would go live on TikTok. I would post a lot of content and I was getting a lot of attention, but I wasn't getting enough, right? I wasn't getting the right type of attention. So I decided to go for the Facebook ads. And the issue there, like as a business owner, hey, I'm good at coaching people, but I'm not good at running ads. I don't know how to do that. And I just said, I don't really have the time to learn this. And I went out and I found a company that could do it for me. Right. And I searched, I looked at a couple of different agencies, and there's a lot of agencies out there that will do that for you. They'll create the ads, they'll run the ads, they'll give you really everything you need. That's kind of what I was looking for. Well, I came across this company that I was pretty impressed with, and I'm not going to name who they are, but I was pretty impressed with them. I've actually referred them to several other clients that, or colleagues of mine that were looking to run paid ads, but just didn't have the time. And I was really just impressed with the way that they handled everything, their entire process, right? It was, I responded to the ad, I booked a call, I watched a bunch of information before the call, and I was pretty much convinced before I even got on a call with them that I wanted to move forward. Like, this is the company for me. All of this sounds exactly like what I'm going through. So you could tell that they had spent a lot of time really understanding who their target client was, which were coaches, course creators, right? People who have coaching businesses, which was me, who were looking to scale, who were looking to get more leads and run ads, which is exactly who I was and who I still am. So they were transparent with everything. Like, you knew what the investment was, you knew what was required of you, and you knew what you were going to get. And the end result was very clear. It was very well done. So by the time I got onto the sales call with the person, I was already sold. Like, he didn't really have to do much. And I basically just told him, I said, hey, look, I've got to do a couple things. I got to think about some things. I got to talk to my, I gave the wife excuse, right? Which I do have to talk to her. It wasn't an insignificant amount of money to spend, but I'll let you know. And I think maybe like a week later, I signed up. And here's what I learned from going through that process was like, there's so much value in all of this pre-selling stuff versus you trying to beat your head against the wall on sales calls with people that you don't really have a lot of time with, a lot of relationship with, right? So I implemented that into my business, and that did wonders for me. And I'll get to that in a minute. But I signed up and it was like everything was super automated. Like I got emails, hey, go here, get signed up for Slack. Like, here's the stuff that you need to do in turn, to be successful. And, I'm an action taker, I'm a go-getter, and I did all the homework. Like, I had to, help them. I had to fill out a bunch of information so that they could do their thing. Like, I wanted this to work. Like, I needed leads. I was ready to scale my one-to-one coaching business and to scale my mastermind. Now, a couple of caveats here. This was a revenue share type of system, and I'm not going to go over the numbers. I'm just going to tell you that I had to pay them a 5-figure fee, and then I had to give them a percentage of my revenue up to a certain dollar amount. And again, that's all I'm going to say about that. But there's a lot of agencies that are like that will have a lower entry fee, but you get revenue share. And then there's other agencies that will just charge you a flat rate and there's no revenue share. So when you're thinking about your own business, think about some type of a situation like that where you could implement one of those models. I think they both work pretty well if you're going into the agency type of a situation. I think for me, I would prefer just a flat fee because I think the revenue share seems like it would be very hard to track. You might get a lot more clients, but I'm not sure. You'd really have to hit a few home runs for that model to work, in my opinion. So I sign up, I go through everything, and I think it was really good because they have team members, right? Like, this person is responsible for getting your ad account set up. Then this person is responsible for like getting your copy dialed in and actually, running the ads and putting them together. And then they had another person that was for the DM scripts, like, because the concept here was you run an advertisement, and this works very well, and I'm still doing it now, and I'm going to get to this there's a difference between what they did and what I did, and I'm going to share the differences with you. The DMs, the Instagram, the ads go to your DMs. So people respond to an advertisement and they would message a keyword to you in the DM, and then you would have a conversation with them, and then you would book a call with them if they were interested, right? If after the screening process, and then you give them some homework to watch. We call it a homework video. They watch a video where you are helping them solve a problem. You're telling them about you and your story. You're sharing client stories, and then you get on a call with them. Very, very effective. So they have somebody that helps you with the DM scripting, and they have someone that helps you with the sales call as well. So they got it all there for you. Now, I'm naturally good at sales, but I picked up some good stuff both on the DM side and the sales side for my business. And then again, the entire process, like how to automate things and run all these flows. It was very, very eye-opening for me and really useful. So I'll give you an idea of what happened here. I was running ads for $50 a day, right? That was what we did. And we were doing some targeting where I was only targeting men at the time, even though I do coach women and I have coached women. And I wouldn't say it's a split, but it's probably 70, 30, 60, 40. I don't quote me on that, but it's close. And we were also targeting age groups, right? Like 35 to 55 and only men. And some of you may not know what this means, but there's all metrics in running Facebook ads. And I was, for someone to have a conversation with me on Instagram, like somebody clicked on the ad, it was costing me about $11.80 with the agency. So I had a total of 526 messaging conversations that got started, which is a lot over 4 months. Again, they were costing me about $11.80 per conversation. And my return on ad spend over that time was about 7. So my ROAS was about 7 to 1. So for every dollar that I spent on ads, I got $7 back. Pretty good, right? But here's where it got a little sticky, was that I had to share a percentage of that revenue. So then that was where I was kind of, not seeing the long-term play here. And so I stopped. And this is something that in hindsight, I probably should not have done. That's the mistake that I made. But it wasn't making sense to me mathematically long term. So I started looking at doing something different, which was to spend all of my time and energy into growing my school community, W2 Prison Break Nation, which is my online school community for all of the busy parents looking to launch businesses and get out of their 9 to 5, right? Basically, all my one-to-ones were the ones who decided that, hey, I need this. I want this mastermind type setting. So I created it for them. And at the time, in the beginning of 2024, school was really starting to get a lot of traction, especially with, Hormozy jumping on board and making that thing go bananas. But I decided to go all in and spend a lot of time and effort. I was still coaching people one-to-one, and I was still picking up clients from my organic methods. But I just decided to turn the ads off just because it wasn't making a ton of sense to me in terms of the revenue share. That's it. But I can't say enough about what I learned and the people that I was working with. They did a really, really, really good job. I just don't think that they fully understood my audience as well as I do and weren't able to make the tweaks managing the account that I'm able to make now. So I then made it I started running ads for my school group. I started running ads to other offers. Like, I made it a point to learn how to do this myself. I said, I got to figure this out and I got to do it the right way. And I spent a lot of time doing it. Right. And I messed up a lot. I made some mistakes. I definitely spent money that didn't have a return. Like, I had some wins, I had some losses, and I learned a lot in a short amount of time. Super frustrating. Like, running ads can be really scary, but you have to learn it and you have to understand that if you're going to do it on your own, and you can learn it on your own, because I did. Like, I had some help from the initial agency, but I joined a couple school groups, and watched some YouTube videos, and I was able to kind of figure it out on my own and do some testing. So now I decided to reinstate the same campaign, right, that I hired the agency for. Like, I just changed things up. Like, my ad is completely different. It's much more targeted towards my avatar, right? Busy parents. I've got a carousel ad of me and my son. We're at a baseball game, and it's a photo on the mound. And I'm really just messaging the stuff that my clients or my prospects have been telling me for a very, very long time. And I'm like, people are getting sick and tired of all these ads, number one. And they're getting sick and tired of like people renting Lamborghinis and being on yachts and all this lifestyle stuff. And I'm like, I'm just not going to do that. And I'm going to put an ad out that goes against that, because that's not who I am. Like, I don't have a yacht. I don't have a Lamborghini. Do I want one? Sure, but that's not why I'm doing this. And that's not what I'm presenting. Like, I'm presenting something much different. I think that resonates with people, because I think people are just really getting sick and tired of all that nonsense. And the majority of it is nonsense, and too many people fall for it. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to flip all these ads on its head. I'm just going to do the complete opposite. And the attention has been tremendous. So in January of this year, 2025, I relaunched that campaign. And here are the tweaks that I made. Here are the differences that I'm doing between now and then. Again, I got a little bit more dialed in with my messaging, and then the images, right? So it's like very clear who this is for and who I'm about. And I think that's landed for a lot of people. So I started on January the 19th, right? So it's been, at the time of this recording, it's been less than 30 days. And my messaging conversations, again, I had 526 that got started over the 4 months with the other agency. I have 293 conversations that have been started since January the 19th. So in less than 30 days. And it is costing me $2.52 for a messaging conversation versus $11.80 previously. Now, does this mean I'm better than the ad agency? No, it does not. It just means that I'm way, way more in tune with my messaging and my targeting and what my ideal client wants. And I've learned this by going through that entire process. Like if I would have started running ads today, I would probably be at $11.80 or higher per conversation. I'm just saying that you can get to this point if you give it time. And I would probably be, and look, that's a great cost per result, $2.52 to get the messaging conversation. My return on ad spend so far, it hasn't even been a month, is almost 16 to 1. So $1, I spend $1, I get $16 back. Like that's more than double than the 7 to 1 that I had with the ad agency. And I don't have to share any of the revenue, which is totally awesome. And I'm spending less money on the ads as well. I was spending $50 a day on the old ad campaign. I started this new ad campaign at $21. I ran it across 3 different ad sets, right? Which is basically I take my, and here's how I do is I'll share this with you, is I have a list of clients that I've either worked with one-to-one, they bought something from me, they've opted in for something, they're in my school group. And I create what's referred to as a lookalike audience, and I upload that into Meta, into Facebook, and they go out and find the lookalike audience, right? And that's worked out really well so far. And then I added one more, a couple of detailed targeting to the lookalike audience, but I left it wide open. Like I didn't say I only want men, and I didn't say that I only want 35 to 55. Like the age range is not touched. And I think that has helped me keep my cost per conversation down. And that's one of the things I've learned by learning about ads is like, don't mess with that stuff, because the Facebook AI is really good at finding your clients, your customers, especially if you are uploading like lists, right? You're doing a lookalike audience. Now, I get younger people that will respond to me, and I just say in my scripts, in the DMs, I'll just say, hey, this is who I help. Like, I'm not going to be any of service to you. So it doesn't really cost me a lot of time to do that. And the results have been much better and much faster because I went through this, right? And it's been almost a year. Like the first go round when I was working with the ad agency, like if somebody booked a call in with me and watched my video, again, watched the homework video, like, hey, we want you to watch this video. Like I didn't talk about pricing. I was pretty like vanilla, if you will. I was a little nervous about how to do that because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how it was going to be received. A lot of people liked it. Some people didn't like it. So this go around with this new attitude and having, almost another year of coaching under my belt and working with people and understanding what their challenges are and what their struggles are and what they want to hear and what they don't want to hear. Because again, I had 526 messaging conversations. I've had a bunch of one-to-one calls. I've coached people. I've had another 250 conversations right now. It's like I'm talking to people every single day. And if there's one takeaway from all of this effort, from this campaign, it's that I get to talk to people and I get to find out what they're going through, what they're trying to accomplish, what their roadblocks are, what their challenges are. And I'm telling you, it's very similar across the board to where when somebody gets on a call with me and they say, hey, I'm scared of this. And I'm like, everybody is, right? Or I don't know what to do first. I don't know what business to start. I'm like, that's everybody's problem. Nobody knows. Like people are repeating the same thing over and over again. And because I'm having those conversations, I'm able to create ads and create solutions that solve all of those problems, right? And that's why I'm doing much better this go round. That's why I'm at $2.52 per conversation. And that's why I'm only spending $40 a day. I'm about to ramp it up, but it was like right from the get-go too, because I had nailed it. I had nailed the ad and I had nailed the copy, and people really, really resonated with that. And I used to get like on the first round in April with the agency, I got a lot of hate comments on my ad, right? Because I was following their exact ad, and which I didn't love, but I was like, hey, this works. I need to get people into my DMs, and I need to get more clients and get more leads. But the people like a scam and this and you're terrible. I mean, it's just awful stuff. In a month, I've probably had 2 negative comments. That's it. 2 negative comments, and one of them really wasn't even that negative, right? So the positivity has been much greater, and really hasn't been any negativity. So I just know that I'm doing the right thing here, but I had to learn this. I had to learn this whole process. And my video, so after you book a call in with me, right? And I don't work with everybody. I'm very clear about that. I was going through the DMs, and I was following kind of like what their script was. And I said, you know what, this just doesn't feel right anymore. I'm just going to do it the way I feel that it should be done. And I always encourage you guys to kind of go with your gut. Like, yeah, sure, their system worked. It was proven, and they really were adamant about that. But I said, I know what works because I'm talking to these people. I know what they want to hear. And like one of my messages to people, and if you're listening to this, you might have even seen it if I work with you one-to-one, or, if you've gone through one of these messages, is I just get straight to the point. It's like, hey, look, I don't want to blow smoke up your tailpipe and ask you a bunch of questions that you probably don't want to answer, because I know you're busy, because you're a busy parent, right? You have a full-time job, you got kids. I'm like, this is what I do, and this is who I help. And if what I just said lands with you at all, let's keep talking. If not, that's fine too. And I repel the people that don't want that. And then I attract the people that do want that. And a lot of business is pushing away who your ideal clients are not. Like, you can't help everybody in business. You can't. And the easiest way to attract your ideal clients, your ideal customers, well, there's a couple different ways to do it, but the easiest way is to just simply repel the people that you don't want to work with. Just get them out. Like, this is not for you if. Like, that's why you see that. This is not for you if you need to think about it, or you need to talk to your wife, or all this stuff, or you don't have enough time, or you're just browsing. Like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, that's not my person. I can't help you right now. Maybe I can help you later, but I can't help you right now. So think about what that is for you. And then you'll clear all that out. And then the people that will actually answer your questions, watch your entire video, show up to the call. It's like, it's almost a done deal. Like, they know what's up. And my video that I send out now covers everything that I'm going to help them do. And I also go through a workshop of how to pick their business. Like, this is how you can pick your online business, because most people that are trying to start a business on their own, like an online business, don't know what to do. They don't know what business to start. And they're looking at all these other distractions, right? All these other shiny objects constantly. It's over and over again. And I just try to solve that one problem, because that's the problem that keeps people stuck, is they are just looking at all these different things. And my target audience, my people, are usually a little bit older, right? Typically, they've worked a corporate job for 5, 10, 15, 20, some 25 years, like me. And they have skills, like they've developed skills, and they are good at stuff. They don't need to go learn how to do drop shipping, right? They can become consultants. They can start agencies. They solve problems for big companies. They don't need to be looking at how to buy real estate. Like, they can. I'm just saying, like, they're looking at something else. And I teach them to look at exactly what they know how to do already. And when they go through my video, my workshop, they look and like, I never thought of that before. I never thought like that before. And I take that stuff for granted because I do it every single day. But I give them a win, right? I give them a quick win. I give them thinking, and I talk to them bluntly. And I'm like, this is what it's like to work with me. This is who I help. These are the results that I've gotten. This is what I'm going to do for you. And I don't sugarcoat. I'm like, if you don't show up, you're not going to win. This is what's required of you. And this is the investment, and this is the time commitment. And these are the objections that you're probably going to have. Let's address them right now, right? I list them all out, and I'm very clear about it. And if somebody watches all the way to the end of the video, I'm like, you're here, you've been listening, you're clearly interested. So think about what's stopping you. Think about what's blocking you, bring that to the call, and let's have a real conversation, because I want to help you move forward. And the people that have watched that video, it's been tremendous. Now, I've had a lot of people who have watched that video and have said, hey, Brian, I'm not ready. And then I just message them and I'm saying, you watched the video, you owe yourself the call. Come to the call. I'll help you as best I can. And I would encourage you to do that too, guys, if you're implementing something like this. Because just because they're not a buyer now, if they took the time to watch your hour-long video, help them. All right. Get on the call with them and help them and serve them. You don't have to sell everybody, right? But what that does is gets everybody ready. The expectations are set. And for those of you who don't like selling and think I don't want to be a salesy person. I don't want to do selling, which is a whole nother podcast, by the way. That's a great way to get it all out in the open. And then it's just a matter of listening and talking to the person and finding out what they need, what they want. And it's like, hey, well, what do you want to do next? Like, what do you think we should do here? It's like, oh, I think we're ready to roll. Like, I want to get signed up. I might have to figure out some budget stuff. Nobody says I got to talk to my partner after I tell them, go talk to them or bring them to the call. Like, nobody does that anymore. They don't say they got to talk to their partner because I say it in the video and I address it ahead of time. So those are the lessons really that I've learned doing this. And it's something that's totally scalable because you can, and I really, there's a lot of value in having conversations in an Instagram DM where you're getting people who are, number one, coming to you, they're seeing your ad and they're responding to you, and there's no website for them to go to. Now, sure, they can go to my website once they go to my Instagram page, but they're having a conversation with me, and the majority of them are engaged, right? Some of them are just looky-loos and they just want to learn more, and that's fine. Again, I don't spend a lot of time with that. I just say, hey, here's who I'm looking for. I want to challenge people and I want to repel the people that are going to waste their time and my time. They're just simply not ready yet. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not who I can help. I only have a limited number of spots available. And that's the truth. And I tell people that, like, I can't coach everybody one-to-one. So this works. And it's not that challenging once you get to the point where you truly know what your ideal client wants. And if you don't have an ideal client and you haven't coached anybody and you're not sure, it's like, you just got to start. You got to start having conversations with people. That's how I started my coaching business. Is I started doing free calls. I had a podcast, I had social media, and I started doing free calls with people. I said, just get on a call. Let's talk. I'll see how I can help you. In a way, I was coaching people for free. And then I got a lot of feedback, and I got a lot of feedback by going live. I went live on TikTok. I went live on Instagram, and I got a ton of feedback. Then I started having people join a very low cost mastermind that I ran. Then I started coaching people one-to-one, for way less than I'm doing right now. But you got to start somewhere. And again, it started with me. It was free calls. Like, I just helped people for free and I got the feedback. And then I tiered up to where I am now. And now I can scale this thing up if I chose to, my one-to-one coaching business, to where I can have somebody do all the DMs, right? It doesn't have to be me. I'm doing it right now because the data is super valuable and I want it. And I can have somebody do the sales calls, right? So when they check in, when they come to the call, it's not me, it's somebody else. And then I can even have another coach. I can have somebody fulfill it. Or I can have a situation where I'm doing maybe the first one or two calls, getting the person set up. And then I have another coach that would do, maybe if I have 12 calls, which I do. So I have 12 calls. So I could have them do like 8 or 9. And then I could come in and wrap it up and do the back, you do the first 10%. The other coach does the 80% in the middle, and then I come at the end, and then I still run the mastermind group, which everybody is in. So there's ways to really scale this up. And I don't want you guys to think, who are thinking about, well, hey, I want to start a coaching business, but there's only so much of me to go around. Yes, that's 100% true. And that's when you just start hiring other coaches. And if that frightens you, don't worry about that right now, because that's not a problem for you. Go get your first client. Worry about the scalability of it later. And there's a lot of ways to pivot away from that. But going through the process of working with people one-to-one, having all of these conversations and getting all this information is so invaluable, because you can create products later down the road that don't require you to be there. In terms of, one-to-one, like I could shut down. I'm not going to do this, but I have so much data and so much information that I could simply stop coaching and just create a bunch of products that solve all of these problems and focus on that business. I'm not doing that right now. But that's the benefit long term when you do this and you have all these conversations, you have all these people. So if you want to beat the ad agencies like I am, and really, I mean, when you think about it, I should be. If you really break this down, like I'm not bragging, and I put an email out to my list not too long ago about how I'm beating the marketing agencies, and I actually launched a one-to-one coaching program for people who specifically want to start a coaching business based on their expertise, right? And it was a 4-week program, and I was very clear about it. Like I put the offer on a Google document, I laid everything out. It was the pricing. I said, this is who it's for. This is who it's not for. This is who it's not for. This is exactly what I'm going to teach you how to do. Like I will teach you this entire system the way that I've done it. Like I didn't invent it, and neither did the agency that I hired. But this is what I can show you how to do, and I'm going to do it at a fraction of the cost. And I'm not going to share it. You don't need to share any of the revenue with me. I'm just going to show you how to do it the way that I do it. And that got me right now that many conversations, which is 293 messaging conversations in less than a month, and a 16 ROAS, almost 16. It's like 15.776. And one of them was a really, really big consulting job that I got. So this stuff works. And if you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I might want to learn a little bit from Brian, just reach out to me. I'll leave my email, or you can DM me on Instagram at Coach Brian O'Neill. I always leave them in the show notes, or you can simply just email me, Brian at w2prisonbreak.com, and say, hey, I'm interested in your coaching. I call it the Don't Overthink It coaching program. No doubt, no lie. I call it that because I was actually thinking about a name for this, and I was using ChatGPT. I was like, hey, give me names for this thing. And I just said, you know what? I'm overthinking this. So this is exactly what I'm going to call it. Don't Overthink It coaching program, because everybody overthinks everything. So if that sounds like something that you want to learn more about, just message me. I hope this was eye-opening and helpful for you. Just know that you absolutely can do it. You just got to get started. Let's go.